Welcome to the City Commission meeting this February 6th, 2024. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Tonight we will have a number of opportunities here to recognize individuals in our community. And for those of you who are here for the first time, we begin with our Pledge of Allegiance and do some housekeeping on the agenda and so forth. So let us begin, and to assist us in doing the pledge is Jeremiah Jones-Destin and Ramaya Marcellus. If I could please ask him to come up to the podium, and if everyone can please stand. Look. No, by the podium, so they can do it in the microphone. Thank you for being here, and put your right hand over your heart. Please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wonderful. Stay there. Thank you. How are you? I'm Dean. So tell me, what school are you from?
Wilton Manners Elementary,
Really? And what grade are you in?
5th grade.
5th grade. Wonderful. And Jeremiah, what school are you from?
I go to Sunrise.
Wait, could you speak in the microphone, please?
I go to Sunrise Middle School.
Wonderful. Are you in the magnet program?
No,
No? What grade are you in?
I'm in 7th grade.
7th grade. Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming tonight. Are your families here? Where are your families? Right here? These are your families? Right here? Well, thank you very nice. Thank you very much. Tonight, I'm going to present each of them with a little bag of goodies. Thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate it. Absolutely. Congratulations. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Thank you for coming tonight. Get a picture. Photo with the mayor.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
If you could all please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Herbst. Present. Commissioner Glassman.
Here.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman.
Here.
Commissioner Sturman.
Here.
Mayor Trentalis.
Here. We have a couple of agenda announcements, but before I do that, I'd like to announce some of the city employees who are retiring this month, who have served very long periods of time. If I could just take this point of privilege and announce their names. First, Todd Nobles, Facility Supervisor at Parks and Rec, after 33 years of service. Congratulations, Todd. Edward Reed, Park Supervisor in Parks and Rec. He's been with us for 34 years. Eric Brogna has been a major in our police department, who's now retiring. He's been with us 27 years. Austin Merchant, a senior construction worker in Parks and Rec, 15 years. Joanne Lorber, Assistant Fire Chief in the Fire Rescue Division, 28 years. Congratulations. And finally, Martha Mazzarelli, a captain in Fire Rescue, been with us 24 years. Congratulations. A gold watch will be sent to each of you in the mail. Please look for it. Yes. Okay, we have a few agenda announcements. CP3, the item is to be removed from the agenda. CP4, Exhibit 6 was revised, adding the negotiated term sheets, pages 1 and 2. And then R9, the case number, there's a scrivener's error if this matters to any of us, but it's UDP EV 2007. So with that said, do I hear a motion to?
Could you go over those, the first two that you mentioned?
Oh, I'm sorry. CP3, the items to be removed from the agenda. And
CP3?
CP, as in Paul.
Okay, got it.
And CP4, Exhibit 6 was revised to add the term sheets 1 and 2. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes and the agenda as amended?
So
Mayor, I also have some edits to the minutes.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Please,
okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Appreciate it. The minutes that we're going to be looking at this evening, City Commission regular meeting minutes, December 19th, 2023. On page 7, on item CR2, I believe what was stated that is Sailboat Bend is the only historically designated residential neighborhood in the entire city, not just District 2. It's District 2 and the entire city, but it's much more than just District 2. That's one item. And then on the minutes of January 9th, 2024, on page 3, on the item, on the actual top, there are several paragraphs, the first paragraph, the third paragraph, and the fourth paragraph that refer to the Transfer of Development Rights Program as a TOR program. I believe that should be the TDR program, not TOR program, and that's it for me.
Okay, any further adjustments or modifications to the minutes? Okay, there being none, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes and the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Been moved, do I hear it moved and seconded? Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman,
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman,
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst, Commissioner Glassman,
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and the minutes and the agenda as amended have now been approved. So tonight, we have one presentation, and this is an opportunity where the city of Fort Lauderdale has an opportunity to recognize an individual. And the honor goes tonight to our Vice Mayor, Beasley Pittman, who is going to present a proclamation on behalf of McKinley Smith of the city of Fort Lauderdale. You're such a Boy Scout.
Such a gentleman. Thank you, Steve.
Good evening, everyone. I came and did what the majority did. I didn't push the button. I'm here tonight with honor to present the proclamation recognizing Mr. McKinley Smith in the city of Fort Lauderdale. In observation of Black History Month, the city of Fort Lauderdale wishes to honor the enduring legacy of Black pioneers. Today, I have the privilege of welcoming Mr. McKinley Smith to the podium for this recognition. Good evening. Thank you. The Office of the Mayor, City of Fort Lauderdale, proclamation in recognition of McKinney Smith. Whereas the City of Fort Lauderdale takes immense pride in acknowledging and celebrating the distinguished service and accomplishments of our esteemed citizen, Mr. McKinley Smith, who has broken racial barriers throughout his life while serving his country and the community. And whereas born on January 22nd, 1948, in Fort Lauderdale, Smith's early years were shaped in Pompano Beach, where he attended Blanche Ely High School, later graduating from Fort Lauderdale High School in 1966. And whereas on December 13th, 1966, Smith united in marriage with Lourdes Razier of Dublin, Georgia, embarking on a life of commitment and shared purpose. And whereas Smith's 26 year of service to our nation began in 1966 when he joined the U.S. Marine Corps, deploying to Vietnam on his 19th birthday. And whereas Smith's military honors are extensive, including 3 Purple Hearts, the prestigious Army Commendation Medal, thank you, and Army Achievement Medal. The United States Postal Service in 1969 later joining Fort Lauderdale's police department. Whereas during the 20 years of service with Fort Lauderdale, he became the first black sergeant and then the first black captain before retiring in 1992. And whereas he continued to serve his country and the community in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve and the Florida Army Reserve National Guard and the Broward County Sheriff Office. And whereas he continued his education, earning both an associate's and a baccalaureate degree, as well as numerous professional accolades and commendations. And whereas Smith's civic involvement is the testament of his commitment to community building, also affiliating with organizations such as the NAACP, the Fraternal Order of Police, and the 100 Black Men of Broward County, among many others. Now, therefore, we, the City Commissioners of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, do hereby proclaim February 6, 2024 as McKinley Smith Day in the City of Fort Lauderdale. Let's give him a hand. This is dated the 6th day of February 2024 by the Honorable Mayor, Dean Trey Trantelis. You are welcome to speak.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to give honor to God. Secondly, to my wife, who put up with me for 57 years or more. I've lost the count.
She gets a gold medal.
Thirdly, I'd like to give honor and respect to my family and friends. And I'd also like to thank the member of the Fort Lauderdale Police Department that made this possible. Those men and women who were on that department during my time, when it was hard for a guy like me to make it on a police department, they helped me. If it wasn't for them and their dedication to true, good law enforcement, I wouldn't have made it. I thank you all. And thank you again.
I'm going to invite the dais to come down and be a part of this photo, because this is a memorable moment here.
Maybe that picture will be on next year's Christmas card, you think? So now we proceed with the regular business of the City Commission. At this time, I would ask each member of the commission to see if they have an agenda item from the consent agenda that they would like to pull, which would be discussed and voted on separately. If there's someone here in the audience who wishes to speak on a consent agenda item that has not been pulled, I will call you up to speak before we vote, and you'll be permitted to speak on those consent agenda items. So far, Andrew Shine, where are you? There you are, just for questions only, right? Okay. And then we have Mr. Kuhlman on CP4. So having said that, so Commissioner Herbst, are there any consent agenda items you wish to pull? No. Vice Mayor?
None.
Commissioner Glassman?
None, thank you.
Commissioner Sturman?
2 items, CR1 and CP1.
Okay. So, and CP3 has been removed. So, Doug Kuhlman is here, who would like to speak on CP4. So, Mr. Kuhlman, may I ask you to step forward and please share your thoughts with us.
Yes, thank you. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Doug Coleman. I'm a planner and landscape architect for some 50 years here, and I've had the pleasure of working with the city and the city staff on your new tree ordinance. I can say that we're still working at it, and we've been at it for 3 years. But the real reason I came to support this, I hope there's no opposition, but that's why I came. Commissioner Glassman brought something up tonight about the loss of a tree that should never have been lost. And even though we are rewriting the tree ordinance, we need more tools in the tree ordinance to protect these trees. We have to make some changes in our zoning code. And this is where we believe the Urban Forestry Master Plan can be very helpful. Because without more tools on our tool shed, we can't stop this kind of loss of major vegetation. So I would encourage you to support this. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Is there anyone else, excuse me, is there anyone else who wishes to speak on any of the consent agenda items? Okay. Except for CR1 and CP1, and of course CP3 that has been removed, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst? Yes. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, CR1, consolidated budget amendment. You have pulled that item, Commissioner Sturman.
Okay, both of these are very simple things. I think, let me go to the first one. Where did I pull? Okay, CR1, Mr. City Manager, just a very quick question.
Yes.
Part of that, they did, I think there was mold in Station 47 that was part of this item too, correct?
Yes.
Just so quick, what's the status of the other stations? Any issues with mold? Anything you anticipate? I mean, these are new stations that were just built.
Yeah. So what I directed staff to do is to work with the fire chief and conduct an assessment of the roofs, which is a critical accelerator of mold, and to test all the roofs and determine which roofs need immediate replacement and make sure that they're not leaking. And thereafter, we're also going to look at just reassessing all the 12 fire stations and making sure that we are more proactive rather than reactive.
Okay. And the return time, we had talked about this, for them to return back is about what?
So I don't have those timelines yet, but I will certainly bring back a schedule of how to get this underway very promptly.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all.
Sure.
Would you like to introduce the item?
Yes, so moved.
So CR1 is being introduced. Oh, sorry.
We'll have to stop talking now.
That wasn't for you. CR1 is being introduced. Would you please call the roll?
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending the City of Fort Lauderdale fiscal year 2024 final all funds budget and final personnel complement for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023 and ending September 30th, 2024, as amended by appropriating and transferring funds and adding personnel respectively, as set forth in City Commission Agenda Memo 24-0035, amending the City of Fort Lauderdale final fiscal year 2024 through fiscal year 2028 Community Investment Plan for the fiscal years beginning October 1, 2023 and ending September 30th, 2028, as amended by appropriating and transferring funds as set forth in the City Commission Agenda Memo 24-0035 and providing for severability and an effective date. Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman.
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman.
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst. Yes. Commissioner Glassman.
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and Sierra 1 is now approved. CP1, Commissioner Sturman?
Oh, yeah, Mr. City Manager, just again, another easy one, probably a very simple thing, just information only. As I've been told by staff, I think one East Broward with Comcast still does not have service, or some issues with that.
Correct. We need to have this agreement approved in order to bring the service of cable service into the fourth floor.
Okay, and how about NSU also with that? That includes that too?
At NSU, as far as internet services, IT is working to make sure that we have this same setup for meetings there.
Okay, very good. That's all. Thank you very much.
All right.
I'll go ahead and,
Would you like to
if there's no-
move the item? It's a motion.
right, if there's no
Do I-
discussion, I'll go ahead and move that.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. For CP1, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman.
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman.
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst. Yes. Commissioner Glassman.
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and CP1 is now approved. Moving on to M1. This is a motion approving an event agreement with request for music exemption and related road closures for the St. Patrick's Day. Someone like to move the item?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman.
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman.
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst. Yes. Commissioner Glassman.
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and M1's approved. M2, motion approving the event agreements and related road closures for the 11th Annual Fort Lauderdale Shamrock Run March for Cancer 2024 Walk Like Mad and Mad Dash for Fort Lauderdale 5K and Mass District events first quarter. Phew. Someone like to move the item?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman.
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman.
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst. Yes. Commissioner Glassman.
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and M2 is approved. M3, this is a motion rejecting all bids for roving security guard services. Invitation to bid, event number 97. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Been moved to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman.
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman.
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst. Yes. Commissioner Glassman.
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and that item is approved. M4, motion approving an increase to the annual asphalt, sidewalk, and ADA improvements, continuing contract cost capacity with FG Construction for $1 million for over 2 years. Do I hear a motion?
Introduced.
Motion to approve? It's
Motion to approve, yes.
Second.
And it's been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman.
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman.
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst. Yes. Commissioner Glassman.
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and M4 is now approved. Excuse me. M5, motion approving the final ranking of firms, negotiated fee schedule, and agreement for consultant services for citywide inflow and infiltration reduction program, $17 million. Do I hear a motion to approve? So moved. Been moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman.
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman.
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst. Yes. Commissioner Glassman.
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and M5 is approved. Very happy we're doing this. This is really important. M6, motion approving the agreement for the Doors Neighborhood Stormwater Improvements with Mancon Incorporated, $30,640,737.10.
So move for approval.
It's moved. Do I hear a second? We moved and seconded?
I have a question about the 10 cents. 10 cents.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman.
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman.
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst. Yes. Commissioner Glassman.
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and that item is approved. M7, motion approving an agreement for the George T. Lohmeyer wastewater treatment plant deep well injection well cleaning project with Lane Christensen Company, $1,193,658.71. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman.
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman.
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst. Yes. Commissioner Glassman.
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes. That item is now approved. M8, motion approving the relocation of R&R Studios hashtag FTL Sculpture. Anyone have any questions?
I do, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Thanks. So, City Manager, is there any possibility in the future? Again, I look at the conceptual drawings, and I'm just wondering. I know that we love using that hashtag "We Are FTL," and this just is kind of plain, just FTL. Any consideration, or was it a matter of cost? Was it a matter of space? Was it a matter of something else, or is there a future possibility of doing what our hashtag actually says?
Well, this was approved by the Parks, the Public Arts Advisory Board, and actually Daphne can also share details on that. But these are pretty substantive, large letters.
The large letters meaning what? 12
12
feet high
feet
and
by 5 feet wide.
12 feet by 5 feet.
Yeah, want to make sure there's clearance for people to go in and out of the beach. So
Right.
Daphne will share details.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have the specific technical specifications. I'm standing in for Mr. Josh Carden, who has those technical specifications that can be given. But I do know that this was previously approved by the city commission. It's just merely the location it's being relocated because it was supposed to be at Tunnel Top. But because of the difficulty, boats passing by, we wouldn't get the full effect. Visitors, residents wouldn't be able to appreciate the full effect. So going on the beach side provides it that availability. I know with the hashtag, that was the way the artist had wanted the renderings, and that was approved by the Public Art Placemaking Advisory Board, as well as the bid when we asked about the relocation.
Okay.
So let me just interject something here. So I was shown some examples of how this kind of artwork was adapted to other cities, and the other cities were just the hashtag and the initials for that city. I don't think it was ever suggested to the artists the phrase "We Are FTL." I don't think the artists even knew that was our byline. So, to your point, I'm wondering. I mean, the artist proposed this based on a suggestion, but I know the advisory board approved it because they thought, okay, it works. But to your point, I wonder if we could ask. I mean, it hasn't been fabricated yet, has it?
Yes, and that's also in answering the question. It has been fabricated.
Okay.
In adding the words "we are" would be an additional, I believe, $350,000. So it would be increasing the price of the artwork out of the Laird Trust Fund.
Mayor, that's only $75,000 per
Letter? Well, let's just say this. Is Josh here?
No.
No.
I mean, this is not to approve the pieces, just to approve the relocation of it.
Correct.
But before we do the installation, maybe we should have a conversation. What do you all think, the rest of the commission? We created this byline, "We Are FTL." This just has FTL.
Well, it has the hashtag.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's not who we are. We are FTL. I mean,
No,
does
I
that make a
understand.
difference to us? Does that make a difference?
I understand. I think I brought it up.
Yeah, no. So
I
does
do
that?
understand.
No. So does that?
Yeah.
I'm just talking.
I understand. I'm listening.
Is that something that we might want to suspend the installation until we maybe have a conversation that we should add to the art piece?
I will get back to you with an answer. I do know that it's already past engineering, and it's with FDOT engineering now to awaiting our own DSD permits.
Okay, well, this is the thing. Why
But
don't, may I make a
we'll check.
suggestion that we go ahead, approve this, they can install it. It doesn't mean we can't also add to it.
How long is this going to be there for?
I'm sorry?
How long does that be there? Will that be there for?
Ever.
Permanent. It's a permanent installation.
Longer than you and me. Longer than you and me.
Let me ask the question. The hashtag concept, if you're using the hashtag, it would only be hashtag FTL. It wouldn't be hashtag we are FTL.
Correct.
So this would still bring, if you're utilizing this as a hashtag, it will bring you to Fort Lauderdale content.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I don't see the hashtag.
In the front,
Someone's standing in front of it.
to the left,
To the left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it is there.
to the north.
Yeah. It's there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're making the point, hashtag FTL,
Right.
I believe.
Well, it's just, I know, but I see where where Commissioner Glassman's coming from. So why don't we just approve the item, and then we can think about the other consideration. It doesn't preclude us from augmenting the art piece.
So, Mayor, also, if I may, and maybe I missed it, but were there any minutes from the Public Art Advisory Board attached to this item?
I don't know. This is just a relocation. It's not the
I know.
approval of the sculpture itself.
No, but they approved the relocation, and they approved the
Yeah.
piece. So I'm just wondering, was that anywhere in the backup? I might have missed it.
No, it's not for this item.
Yeah, that would be helpful for us to have that in the backup to read the discussion at the Public Art Advisory Board meeting. It just would have been helpful. At least to me, I would have liked to have read that. Also, what about lighting? And I know we're involved with turtle lighting on the beach, but is this piece going to have any kind of turtle-friendly lighting? I'm just concerned because, you know, once sunset comes, once the evening comes, is there going to be any light on this at all anywhere?
Not planned for that yet, but doesn't mean we can't add on to it.
Yeah, I think we need to think about it, because if we are trying to create an iconic spot for folks to take selfies and photos, et cetera, I think we need to think about it, because you won't see this at night. The beach is black, pitch dark behind it, no light, no anything, and with the turtle-friendly lighting, I just think that we need to think about that.
We're gonna look at it and brainstorm. Maybe there's some type of fluorescent paint that can hold on to glow for some hours. But certainly, we'll find a way to see how it could be vibrant at night as well.
Yeah, I just,
You could just do uplighting. Like if these palm trees
Right.
are real palm trees there, I mean, you could just do uplighting. That's no big deal. I don't think the artists would appreciate our repainting
yeah.
the art
I don't think we
piece.
can. I don't think we can repaint the art.
Right. So I think your point is well taken. It makes a lot of sense. So,
Okay, just a thought.
For
yeah.
safety also.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the item?
So moved.
Second? Do I hear a second? Second? Second, okay. Commissioner Herbst seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and the item is approved. R1, this is a resolution appointment of board and committee members. Mr. Clerk, would you please name the nominations that have been introduced?
Okay, for the February 20th resolution, Gary Hensley, that's a consensus, nominated by Commissioner Glassman. And for tonight's resolution, Central City Redevelopment Advisory Board, Troy Liggett, nominated by Commissioner Glassman. Citizens Police Review Board, Sharon Woods, nominated by Mayor Trentalis. Community Appearance Board, Chancel Dean, nominated by Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman. Economic Development Advisory Board, Nicholas Colias, nominated by Commissioner Herbst. Education Advisory Board, Christina Dever, nominated by Commissioner Glassman. And we have a few names that came in after publishing, and these are all reappointments. For the Citizens Committee of Recognition, Romney Rogers, nominated by Commissioner Sturman. Betty Shelley, nominated by Commissioner Sturman. Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee, Marilyn Mamano, nominated by Commissioner Sturman. And Insurance Advisory Board, Jonathan Perillo, nominated by Commissioner Sturman. That rounds it out.
Okay, are there any other names to be added to the list? Okay, so would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
It's been introduced. Please call the roll.
And that's as amended.
As amended.
As
Thank you.
amended.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, appointing or nominating, if applicable, board and committee members as set forth in the exhibit attached hereto and made a part hereof. Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and R1 is now approved. R2, this is a resolution calling 2024 regular municipal election on November 5th, 2024. I guess this is just an administrative thing. Someone like to introduce the resolution?
So moved.
Introduced for approval.
Please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, calling the regular municipal election to be held on November 5th, 2024, to elect a mayor and 4 city commissioners from commission districts 1 through 4, respectively, and providing for severability, rescission of conflicting resolution provisions, and an effective date. Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and R2 is approved. R3, resolution approving a settlement agreement with Florida Power and Light Company to receive a refund in the amount of $202,289.91. Before we move on this, do we know what happened with the civil suit that a number of the businesses filed against FP&L because of this incident? Dwayne, do you know anything about that? I don't think Tom, do you know anything about it?
Yeah, that's the next item. That's not this item, Mayor.
No, I know, but this is Fort Lauderdale's settlement payment. I want to know what the businesses received.
No, this is an audit for electric bills. This is not that incident where they hit the water.
I understand that, but I'm just asking the question.
I
May
understand.
ask the question?
Sure, but
Okay,
this
thank
is not
you.
the agenda item. That's okay.
Do you know? I didn't think you would know the answer. You don't know. You don't know either. Okay. Okay. So anyway, would someone like to introduce R3?
Introduced.
It's been introduced.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, authorizing the city manager as designated to execute a settlement agreement between Florida Power and Light Company and the City of Fort Lauderdale, providing for severability, rescission of conflicting resolution provisions, and an effective date. Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and R3 is approved. R4, resolution approving a settlement agreement and release with Florida Power and Light Company et al. To receive settlement payment in the amount of $400,000. Someone like to introduce a resolution?
Introduced.
It's been introduced. Any questions?
I do. Thank you, Mayor. I don't know, maybe Linda or city manager, just wanted to know what the actual loss was on this item for the record, and then what our costs were, and then how this $400,000 plays into that.
Linda will share those details.
Thank you.
Just give me a second. Let me pull up the spreadsheet, and I'll give you the exact figures. All right. So the estimates were, the total loss estimated by the city was $797,000. Of that, it included staff time for emergency personnel of about $363,000, $373,000 worth of actual repairs to fix the line, and then another $61,000 in ancillary costs for like food and portalettes and water distribution.
So it was $373,000 for actual repair costs?
That is correct.
Does that include the tree?
I don't know. I assume so, yes.
Now I know where that missing tree is, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, I appreciate that, because that helps put that dollar amount into perspective. It's not a bad dollar amount then. Thank you.
No
And
problem.
With
Thank
that,
you.
Mayor, I'm happy to move the resolution.
The R4 has been introduced. Please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute a settlement agreement and release between Florida Power and Light Company, Infratech Corporation, Florida Communication Concepts, Inc., GEO and YUS Corporation, and the City of Fort Lauderdale, and providing for severability, rescission of conflicting resolution provisions, and an effective date. Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and R4 is now approved. R5, a resolution declaring notice of intent to convey city-owned property located at 800 Northwest 22nd Road in the Northwest Progressive Flagler Heights Community Redevelopment Area to the Fort Lauderdale Community Redevelopment Agency, and setting a public hearing for March 19th, 2024, pursuant to Section 8.02 of the City Charter. Anyone have any questions with regard to this? There being none, someone would like to introduce the resolution.
Introduced.
Resolution's been introduced. Please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, providing notice of intent to convey one city-owned property located at 800 Northwest 22nd Avenue within the Northwest Progressive Flagler Heights Community Redevelopment Area to the Fort Lauderdale Community Redevelopment Agency for public purposes pursuant to Section 8.02 of the City Charter, subject to terms and conditions, providing notice of a public hearing before the City Commission at 6 p.m. on March 19, 2024, for consideration of the terms and conditions and to authorize execution of the conveyance instruments by the proper city officials and providing for an effective date. Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and the resolution is now approved. Moving on to R6. This is a resolution approving a memorandum of understanding between the Office of the State Courts Administrator and the City of Fort Lauderdale in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for community court expenses and authorizing the city manager to execute the memorandum of understanding. Someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduce.
Anyone have any questions? There being none, please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, approving a memorandum of understanding between the Office of the State Courts Administrator and the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for community court expenses, authorizing the city manager to execute the memorandum of understanding, providing for severability, rescission of conflicting resolution provisions, and an effective date. Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and R6 is now approved. Okay, we're coming to a stop now. R7, City Clerk Annual Performance Review. Let's see, we have options here. The resolution includes a blank, which would be necessary for us to insert the percent increase that we might recommend. So would someone like to introduce the resolution, then we can have discussion?
Introduce with a 3% merit increase?
Okay, so any discussion?
I'd like to say that I've had the distinct pleasure of working with David for many years now. He's been an absolute professional. I'm on to my third city clerk now since I've been here, starting with Jonda, and then taking us back a few years. And David, you do an outstanding job. You are collaborative, collegial, professional, and I enjoy working with you. I like the direction that you're taking the office. I'm very impressed with the staff that you've got on board with you. They are all incredibly responsive. I know you've taken on a tremendous workload with public records requests. I know you're moving forward with installing the new treasurer reports for candidates, which is something I can tell you as somebody who's actually filed the reports myself as a treasurer, I'll be happy to see that in there. So again, it's been a pleasure to work with you, and I look forward to more years together. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Anyone else have any other comments?
I'd like to echo what the words collaborative, collegial, and professional. Did I get it right, John?
Yes.
What is he writing your
Absolutely.
script?
Outstanding, Warren.
yeah.
He's also courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
I want it to be uniform.
Ditto.
I want us to be uniform on our evaluation here.
I had to say it.
Symmetrical on each side of the dais here.
Okay, does that conclude your remarks?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, all right.
Yes, and I would like to take this opportunity also to say this has, our working relationship has been such a pleasure. Having the opportunity to work with you and you even expound on some things that I wasn't really aware of, taking the time to do that with me and my office, I really appreciate it. And everything that's been said, all these great pronouns and, excuse me, not pronouns, but adjectives that have been used to describe who you are and your work ethics, I stand in agreement with it. And thank you for your service.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I just want to thank you very much, Dave. I really appreciate it. I think you, as well as every single other officer, deserves the 3%. Thank you.
I'm speechless. No, I echo everyone's comments. You've been great to work with. I appreciate your taking over from Jeff when he retired, and it's been seamless. So thank you for everything you do, and I know that our systems work better when we know that you're working with them to try to make things happen. So thank you again for everything that you do. With that said,
One quick
resolution.
question. Does he have to recuse himself, or could somebody else call the roll?
He's not
Cassandra wanna
voting.
read
He's just typing. He's not composing.
By the way, there's one more thing, David. I don't know if you're aware of this. We have 2 new charter offices up there, the city manager and the city attorney, but there's a long-standing tradition going back to John Doe, Harry Stewart, and so forth. The charter officer that gets a raise is responsible for buying drinks.
Oh,
Just letting you know.
all right. I can do that.
Wow. Quid pro quo. Please call the roll,
We should be at McGuire's.
if there were one.
I'm sorry, what was it? Commissioner? I'm sorry?
Call the roll.
Oh, Dave, I've never seen you speechless.
Just before I read, I
Wait a
just,
minute, how many people do I got to buy drinks for?
you're right, yeah, I was doing the math. But just real quick before I read the roll, I just want to say thank you to my entire staff. They are just amazing every day, and they are what make me a better city clerk. So thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, John and the whole staff. Please, thank you for mentioning that. Please thank them on behalf of
I
all
will.
of us.
All right. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, providing for a 3% merit increase, or merit salary increase for City Clerk David R. Solomon, providing for effective date. Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and that resolution is approved. Congratulations, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
R8, it's a quasi-judicial resolution vacating a 6-foot wide by 120-foot long drainage easement on 600 Solar Isles Drive. This is a quasi-judicial resolution, so there will be disclosures. Anyone wishing to speak must be sworn in, and the commission will announce any site visits, communications, or expert opinions received and make them a part of the record. Commissioner Herbst, do you have any disclosures?
I do not.
Vice Mayor?
None.
I have none. Commissioner Glassman?
None.
Commissioner Sturman?
None.
Okay, there being none, someone like to move? I have one person sign up to speak. Is that just for questions, Mr. Cummings? Where's Mr. Cummings there? Just for questions? Yeah. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? There being none, would someone move to close public hearing?
So, second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and public hearing is now closed. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
It's been introduced. Please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, vacating that certain 6-foot drainage easement recorded in deed book 580, page 377, also being south 6 feet of lot 31, block 3, Riviera, according to the plat thereof, as recorded plat book 6, page 17, all the public records of Broward County, Florida, located west of Riviera Isle Drive, north of the New River, east of Solar Isle Drive, and south of Solar Plaza Drive, all said lands situate, lying, and being in the City of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and that resolution is approved. Congratulations. Thank you. R9, quasi-judicial resolution vacating a 5-foot portion of a drainage easement, drainage facilities easement that is 120 feet in length and 15 feet in width, located at 2301 Delmar Place. Anyone wishing to speak must be sworn in, and the commission will announce any site visits or communications or expert opinions received and make them a part of the record. Courtney, we never have a conversation on this, did we? Yeah, okay. Okay, Commissioner Herbst?
I'll ask the same question. Yeah. I don't believe you and I met on this one, so I want to say no disclosures on this one.
I'm not sure either. Courtney, have we met? Okay.
I'm glad somebody remembers. Thank you.
No disclosures.
Whatever she said. Any communications I would have had would have been with Mrs. Crush. Commissioner Glassman.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I did a site visit, and I also met with Courtney Crush and Joanne Lowe, the owner of the property, on January 8th, 2024.
And Commissioner Sturman.
None.
None. Okay. So you've signed up to speak, but only to respond to questions. Anyone else wish to speak on R9? There being none, someone move to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and public hearing is now closed on R9. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, vacating the west 5 feet of a 15-foot drainage easement recorded in Official Records Book 5251, page 492 of the Public Records of Broward County, Florida, being the west 5 feet of the east 25 feet of Lot 2, Block 2, Gold Island, according to the plat thereof, as recorded in Plat Book 15, page 62. All the public records of Broward County, Florida, located west of the Intracoastal Waterway, north of East Los Olas Boulevard, east of Southeast 23rd Avenue, and south of Castilla Isle, all said lands being in the City of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and R9 is now approved. This is OSR 1, second reading, an ordinance amending subsection 20-110, parens A.1, parens 5, and repealing subsection 20-110, parens A.1, parens 11, of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Fort Lauderdale. Someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduced.
It's been introduced. Any questions with regard to this item? There being none, please call the roll.
In ordinance of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending subsection 20-110, parens A.1, parens 5, and repealing subsection 20-110, parens A1, parens 11 of the Code Ordinances of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, thereby amending eligibility for the General Employees Retirement Plan's Deferred Retirement Option Program for certain employees and amending the drop account earnings rate and providing for severability, repeal of conflicting ordinance provisions, and an effective date. Vice Mayor Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and OSR 1 is now approved on second reading. Are there any other items, any walk-on items?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Is there any further business of the commission? There being none, meeting is adjourned.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand. This meeting is not concluded.
Unconcluded.
This could take an hour, Dean.
Yeah.
I have a request for an executive closed-door session of the City Commission, its regular meeting.
I can't hear you.
Or executive closed-door session request of the City Commission for its regular meeting of February 6, 2024, pursuant to Florida statute, section 286.0118A. February 20?
Closes the microphone.
February 20, sorry.
I can't hear.
What?
It's just,
Right here. It's JMS Construction Services, Inc. versus City of Fort Lauderdale, case number CACE 16-020-54904, during the City Commission regular meeting on February 20th at approximately 4:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter as it may be heard. Present at the attorney-client session will be Mayor Dean J. Trentalis, Vice Mayor Pamela Beasley Pittman, Commissioner John Herbst, Commissioner Steve Glassman, Commissioner Warren Sturman, City Manager Greg Chavaria, myself, City Attorney Tom Ansbro, Deputy City Attorney Dwayne Spence, outside counsel Robert C. L. Vaughn, Esquire, and Kim Vaughn, Lerner, LLP, certified court reporter from Bailey Ensign Court Reporting will also be present. Estimated length of the session will be approximately 15 minutes.
okay,
All right. Lastly,
go ahead.
I announced that I have sent to you this morning the report of the January 9th incident involving the complaint by Ms. Pryor involving Mr. Glassman. The report concludes that there was no bullying, abuse of power, or harassment conducted by Mr. Glassman against Ms. Pryor. Therefore, the complaints are unfounded and unsubstantiated under the circumstances, and the case is concluded.
okay,
If you've read her report.
okay,
All right? Thank you
all
all.
right.
So Tom, just for clarification, when you and I talked about this, you said the thing that establishes bullying is a pattern of repeated behavior. Is that correct?
It's more than a single incident, clearly, and this is a single incident, or maybe two incidents close together in one night, but a pattern of bullying is a pattern where it occurs, and it's a periodic pattern of harassment like you think of as kids in school. By the way, the investigator recommended the city consider adopting a code of conduct for itself, precisely what you recommended tonight, Mr. Herbst, and that harassment and anti-retaliation training be undertaken by the city for its employees.
Right. The other issue, which I believe she raised, is that The PSM, which is developed and promulgated under the authority of the city manager, does not apply to elected officials. Is that
That is correct.
understanding?
That's correct.
There are other aspects of city operations that are developed by the city manager, but then are adopted by the city commission, and, for example, the procurement code or certain other things, the personnel rules, for example, developed by staff, but then they are embedded into our ordinance code by action of the city commission. Similarly, I presume we could take that same bullying and harassment PSM, for those of you, that's our policy and standards manual, our PSM, and we could codify that. Is that correct?
That's true.
Okay. I think that's a good idea, not even just in relationship to this particular incident, but I do think going forward, I think this is something separate and distinct from the code of conduct that we've talked about. I think every organization, whether it's the private sector, corporate America, or the public sector, this is an issue of governance, and I think it's important that we have an anti-bullying, anti-sexual harassment, anti-violence provision within our ordinance code that we all have to adhere to, regardless of whether we're an employee, whether we're a charter officer, or an elected official. So I'd like that to come back to the City Commission for consideration for adoption at a future point in time.
Okay, I'm fairly confident the code of conduct you're recommending would embody those three things and more, but I'll make sure that they do.
Thank you.
Nothing further.
City Attorney, does the city follow any Florida state law or county law with regards to the issues that we've been hearing about for the last few minutes?
No.
Nothing in Florida law, nothing in county.
This is purely operated by the city commission when it judges its own.
But it's not exactly what I'm asking.
Oh.
But I just want to know anything that the Florida law states with regards to any of this or the county.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, because I've been told otherwise, but that's okay. We can have that conversation.
Are you asking, are there guidelines, for example, does the state legislature follow a code of conduct? Does the county commission follow a code of conduct? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking if there are actually basically laws and procedures in place at the state level and county level that dictate to us that kind of code of conduct or that kind of behavior in terms of, if there are allegations of bullying or harassment or whatever else you want to add to that mix.
Again, not to my knowledge, but I know this particular woman who conducted the investigation is schooled and experienced in these matters, and had she found those things, they would have been indicated in her report.
Okay, I'll get you some more information, but that's okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Okay. Is there any further business? No? This meeting is now concluded. Thank you.